Hey, what's up, everybody, and welcome to Police Off the Cuff. We are here in our new home down here in Tribeca, New York City. I'm with my partner, Bill Cannon. What's up, buddy?
Hey, you had some weekend, man. You headlined at Governor's 2 nights in a row, huh?
Yeah, to everybody that came out to Governor's this weekend to watch, to catch me headlining there, thank you so much. I really, really appreciate it.
Any Police Off the Cuff fans show up there?
We actually had quite a few, and I was very, very happy that...
Were they asking Saturday about me or what? Where was your partner? Why didn't you hook up your fucking partner?
You know what? It's a lot of cop for one show, unless people are actually coming to...
Too much cop stuff for one show?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know why we prejudge.
I don't know. If I was Dominican, I think he'd take care of me, you know?
To all the people that came out this weekend, I had Rob Johnson, who was in my company in the academy. He came out. He's a retired lieutenant. He's doing, like Trump would say, and he would hate the fact that I'm associating his name with Trump, but he's doing fantastic things in the PI world. And actually, also two friends from my block, Eddie and Donald, came with their families. That was amazing. I had friends from my old neighborhood come down. It was sold out, balls to the wall, bro. It was beautiful, man.
Were you
slapped
funny?
The shit out of them.
You were funny?
Yeah, we did what we were supposed to do. When I come up there, I come into work, bro. There's no bullshitting, bro. And when I see a sold out room like that, I just throw it into extra gear. Get that extra gear, kick it into extra gear.
You weren't drinking during this show, were you?
I always drink, bro. No, I'm gonna be honest with you, man. People pay money, man. Nobody wants to see me sober.
Oh, okay. Nobody's
paying money. You come here, I got a couple in me, though. That's
I thought you were funnier when you weren't drinking.
You don't even know me when I'm not drinking.
You're right.
Never seen
me. I've never seen you not drinking.
Somebody actually said it to me. They were like, dude, every time I see you, you're stoned. That's because you've never seen me straight. So, listen, we don't like to keep our guests sitting around long. Our guest today, we're honored to have him. He's the author of the book. It's called Balls, Brawls, and Badges. And his name is, I want to get the last name right, Gansrow, right?
That's
Timothy.
Perfect.
Tim Gansrow. I did good, right? Tim Gansrow.
And he's a retired sergeant.
He's a retired NYPD sergeant. His two passions were law enforcement and baseball, right?
Pretty much, yeah.
You look like a retired baseball player, like a coach.
Yeah, like the guy that put 40 pounds on. Since
yeah,
he
you know when they take the hat off the baseball coach and he just looks like a dude who's a baseball coach.
When I taught at this college, they had a really good baseball team. They had a lot of Dominican players, and I used to say, "You want to get your grade up one level higher?" They go, "Yeah." I go, "Repeat after me. Baseball been better go to me."
Well, I remember that. That was a great sketch from SNL. But let me ask you a question. Are you wearing the baseball No, you're not wearing the baseball pants today.
No, buddy, that's over.
You don't do that no more?
Those days are over.
That's a funny thing that the baseball coaches have to wear the uniform.
Oh, good.
Yeah. You know, they're still wearing the uniform. Like, God forbid, they're down to, what are they, 26, how many people on a roster? 26 people?
Yeah, 26.
26 people on a roster. God forbid, all 20, they need one more to make 9. There's 16 of them out, right? They need one more to make 9. Coach?
There's a 55-year-old coach ready to go in, right?
Put the cup in, coach. They're already dressed to play. Coach, put the cup in. You're coming in.
And they're putting coaches in uniforms and one of their attendance is down.
I know, right? Oh,
who wants to see that?
Yeah. So where are you from, Tim?
Well, so I'm really from Long Island, but
you get a lot of Long Island people.
But my family kind of moved all over the place. Divorced parents, so anytime she won custody, she was.
Yeah,
she got custody, and we went elsewhere.
Yeah, my mother lost custody. She had to keep me. So your parents divorced, and so you split your time between where?
So I was in Long Island. I was in Florida.
You got brothers, right?
There's 7 total. 6 brothers and a sister.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Oh, really? 6 brothers and a sister. Yeah, that makes 7.
I had 8 in my family, 5 boys and 3 girls.
Levittown guy.
Levittown. You know what it was? I don't think. I think people just had kids. They didn't know what else to do out in Levittown.
Yeah,
you know?
there was like there's not that many families with kids like that anymore.
No.
It's unusual when you see somebody like that.
There were people in my town that had 12 kids.
I know.
I was like, I didn't even know if they knew the names of all of them. You know.
I was sitting I was on the road doing a gig, and I'm just sitting there. I'm looking at this family. God bless them, beautiful family. But there was the husband, the wife. They couldn't have been more than 30. They got a 3-year-old, a 2-year-old, a 1-year-old. There's one in the little carry-on thing for the car seat for the car, and she's pregnant. I'm like, dude, just give that shit a chance to heal, bro. God damn, give it a chance.
They must be Christians.
So 7, man, that's a great family, and so it was 6 boys and 1 girl.
Yeah.
And where did you fall in there?
I was the 5th of the 7. So I was towards the bottom.
That's a nice spot.
Yeah.
So you got the shit slapped out of you.
That wasn't our way in our family.
The one younger than you, the 4th one probably got the shit slapped out.
My sister would be the one in the middle, so she kind of she pretty much raised us. You know, she ran the roost in our house.
So in between, every time you had to shuffle off, there was this 3 staying with the mom, 4 with the dad, or everybody got to pack up all 7 of you got to go to one to the new place together.
No. The older brothers were a bit older, so they kind of were on their own, and then my sister was either with us or in college, and then it was me and the 2 younger ones shucking wherever we went.
All right. Well, what age? You were a big baseball fan. There we go. The Bulls. What age did you start playing baseball?
I think probably as young as I could walk. There was a bat.
You loved it, right?
Yeah. I mean, we grew up in a town that had really a historic high school baseball coach, and
who's that?
Doug Robbins was his name. He coached at the school, Levittown Memorial.
You want to hear something funny? He was my best friend's brother-in-law growing up. Doug Robbins.
That wasn't funny at all, Bill.
It wasn't funny, but it's funny.
No, but you said you
all
want
right,
to hear something
the
funny.
way the world is, like how everything's connected. You know?
I'm messing with you, bro.
He was the second most winningest high school coach in New York State history, and he died early of brain cancer.
Oh wow!
So had he lived, he probably would have been the most, right?
Yeah, he definitely would have been.
Yeah.
And so my second oldest brother, everyone played baseball. My second oldest brother was a really fine player, and he was 8 years older than me. So, at that time in your life, when you're 10, 11 years old, and you're watching your brother like kind of tear it up at high school, I was locked in, and I was.
You wanted to be like that, right?
Absolutely.
What position did you play?
So in high school, I was a shortstop, and then I got a college scholarship when I went to school.
You look like a baseball player, like you're built like an old, especially the old time baseball players. You almost look like Ron Say in a way. If you don't remember Ron Say, he was on the Dodgers.
Yeah,
the Golden Penguins, the big forearms, man, Popeye forearms.
He
was great, wasn't he?
Yeah,
I could still do the way he used to hit.
Yeah, he could play.
Yeah, I used to know everybody's batting stance. I love baseball, man.
Glad he's not chewing tobacco, though.
That's why when I was reading your bio and I read about the baseball, I was so fascinated with it. And my son played baseball, and I'm sure you have kids, right?
I do have 3.
Yeah. Did they play baseball?
The older guy, I chased him right away from the game. I knew he had a skill set, and I pushed him. And he the one game he knew I absolutely couldn't stand was soccer, so he played soccer.
He plays soccer.
Oh, yeah, man, I can't stand soccer either.
Now,
Holy
in
shit.
his defense, he was a boxer at West Point. He's an MMA fighter.
Good.
So
he made up for it. With that, he made up for
Yeah.
it. So you're playing baseball in high school, and you said you were a shortstop, right?
I was in high school, and then I was a recruited athlete in college, and I got a college scholarship. And the first day you show up, they make you run 60-yard dashes. They want to see if you can move. I ran pretty well at that point in my life, and the guy's like, go to the outfield with the outfielders. So I've never played the outfield a day in my life. He's like, I said go in the outfield. And so, for the next 2 years, I was an outfielder, and then, there's an incident in college.
Were you happy about that?
Once I figured it out, man, I was a lot happy being an outfielder. You can really focus on your hitting. You make a couple throws a game. I actually enjoyed it.
It's a big difference between like playing in this, like, when we play in the street growing up, everybody played every position, and then playing on a competitive level, the ball comes so fast, and you gotta be able to pick it up when you play the outfield. You gotta be able to pick it coming off the bat, like before we already know where it's going. As soon as you can almost hear it and know where it's going. But if you're not at that skill level, you gotta at least see it when it comes off the bat, right?
Yeah, it's
and it's a BB coming at you.
Yeah, it's a lifetime of training, So it's something if and baseball is a numbers game, right? So you're playing percentages, and you're looking at swing tendencies, and then you've gone over it thousands of times, literally thousands of fungos. Pre-game BPs, they call it ball off bat. You're taking live balls every few times off the bat, and so by the time you're at that level, if you're a college player, you're a really good player.
It's a big difference when you play at that level too. Because I remember playing softball as a kid. No, I was a man already, but we were playing a softball game, and there was a college kid playing with us one day, and it was softball, and he was throwing it in from the outfield like like I said, BBs, but like it was just such a different.
Yeah.
They use aluminum bats in college too, right?
They're still using them.
Comes off the bat a lot differently than wood.
It does. I mean, there's definitely, they've made modifications to the metal, but it's still,
Comes off faster too, right?
I remember buying those bats for my son, and it was so expensive.
Yeah.
Those aluminum bats, and I remember going online and going to like eBay. It's like that's how I became familiar with these sites, because I would go on there and I would like try to find bats that I could afford. A $300 bat hardly used for a buck.
$300 for a bat?
Oh, $350, $400, $500 for a bat if you want to spend it.
And you got to think, some of these parents, they're buying the kid a bat at 11, and then he grows at 12,
right.
And then 13, 14, he's hit his puberty years, he's grown again, and then he's a high school player. They bought, $1,200-$1,500 of bats in 5 years.
That's crazy.
So, yeah, it's
and
expensive.
I didn't like the way the ball came off the bat at that speed either with the aluminum bats. The whole thing bothered me. My son used to pitch too, so that was always a nightmare.
At some point, your college is metal, but like all your summers,
It's something big.
and your fall is played with wood.
Yeah.
And once you really, find the understanding of how to strike a baseball with the wood, you really don't want to go back to the metal again. There's a trueness to hitting a baseball right when you hit it with wood.
And the sound of it.
Yeah,
Everything.
it's a quick pop, and you struck something really well, and there's a bigger true spot on metal. So if you miss, it's still pretty good, and that's like a false sense of security.
Yeah, it's like they make the equipment, even like in golf, they make the equipment so good these days that is it the golfer or the equipment? Right?
Yeah.
So the same thing with baseball.
So when you were playing in high school, I would imagine you had dreams, aspirations of being a pro, right?
From probably
It was a dream, right?
yeah. I mean, from like 5, 6 years old, for lack of a better term, I'm like a low IQ guy, man. I know what I am. So
Yeah, me too.
So when I was little, I wanted
Welcome.
but
Welcome to the club.
60 IQ club's a great place
Yeah,
to be.
yeah.
You know your wheelhouse.
I got a 700 on my SAT,
Math or English?
both combined.
Let's
Oh my God!
So yeah, no, I'm probably from 5 years
Is
old.
that why you didn't go to medical school?
Yeah, that's one of the reasons why.
No, I would say probably from 5 years old, I either wanted to be a cop or I wanted to be a baseball player. That's all I ever wanted to do. And I think maybe, we moved to Florida when I was 15 years old, and
There he goes, moving again.
Yeah, oh yeah.
He's a gypsy. This
And
guy.
we were catching such great weather there. I'd never seen weather like that, and
Yeah, that's where all the baseball players come from too.
it's such a distinct advantage. You're playing 9-10 months a year, and I met some.
It is, but is there more wear and tear on the body? Is there any
the
study
pitchers.
on that?
Yeah, the pitchers. So
When you're pitching all year round, and I remember when I was coaching, a lot of these kids they would be pitching more than one league.
Oh,
so
absolutely.
that means you're pitching more than once a week. And sometimes if we were in the playoffs and I wanted this kid to pitch, and then all of a sudden he's doing shitty, I'm like, what happened? You didn't get enough sleep, and then I find out that he was playing a game. He just came from a game.
They used to have those Connie Mack leagues in Levittown, and they used to have guys in like their early 30s still playing ball.
Yeah, those are called pedophiles. Anybody, let me tell you something. If you don't have a kid on that team, you shouldn't be coaching.
No, not coach. No, they were playing.
I don't
They were
trust
still
this guy at
playing
all.
baseball in their 30s.
And people used to drop the kids off to me like they didn't even know me. Like, how could you tell? Like the mothers, I remember it would be like a snowflake league, and the mothers used to pull up, and they'd be like, they roll down because it's cold out. We're gonna still play baseball. Don't ask me why. And they roll down the window this much. Are you the coach? I said, yeah. All right, here's my son. When is it over? Come back in an hour.
2 hours.
We close the door to the minivan. They just take off. They don't know who I
You're
am.
their babysitter.
I know. I miss coaching though, man. I wasn't a good coach, man, but I missed it.
If you're giving up your time for these kids, you're doing something right.
I remember
for the
one
most
kid
part.
comes off the field and he says to me, "Hey, Coach, I'm not going to be here for next Saturday's game." So I looked at him. I go, "If you're not going to be here, who's going to strike out and make all the errors?" And his head spun around like 3 times again. Don't worry about it, kid. Somehow we're going to make it without you. So your dream, what happened to this dream of baseball? You got into, now you're playing college ball, and
Yeah.
because I read in your bio something you wrote that was interesting. You had I guess you make the decision, like you said, your body and your skill set didn't.
Yeah. So at the college level, I was one of the better players in the country, and so in your head, you say to yourself like, God, dude, this is just a matter of time before I'm advancing through the minor league levels, and I'm a major leaguer, and then you're not eligible to be drafted until the completion of your junior year if you go to a 4-year school.
And this is baseball, obviously, because
yeah.
we already know about basketball. You could
They can go any way they want. But
half a semester.
You're talking about
you're out.
junior year of high school.
No, I'm talking college.
Well, they
Your
draft
junior
high
year.
school
Yeah, but
players
you
too,
can
right?
you can get drafted out of high school.
Well,
But
so-
once
so-
you start college,
Right.
right?
So if you go to high school, you can be drafted out of high school. If you go to a junior college, you can be drafted like a 2-year.
okay.
You can go either year. But if you go to a 4-year school, you're not draft eligible till you complete your junior year.
Okay.
So my junior year rolled around, and I there was the Chicago White Sox and Detroit Tiger Scouts were they were kind of pretty hot on me, and I was positive I was getting drafted because I had one hell of a year my junior year, and then one of the guys came to my father like towards the very end of the season. He's like, "Listen, they're not going to let me pull the trigger on your son. They think he's undersized. He's too small." So we want him to go play, non-affiliated, pro ball.
They didn't see how you were going to fill in.
Well, yeah, they didn't see I was going to go. I was going to get 5 foot
Look
wide.
at him now.
Right.
Look at him now.
So,
What do you weigh, like 240 or a tank right now?
probably 205.
Yeah, you're solid.
240. You gave him
Nails.
35 extra pounds.
Remind me of Lenny Dykstra in a way.
Yeah,
Just the body, like the way you look strong, man. You look like you could run through a wall.
Once upon a time, you
I
spent,
could picture you in center field, like running. You're one of those guys, Nails, bro.
Yeah.
That was a great name for
Nah,
Lenny Dykstra.
dude, he
by the way,
was.
Lenny
He was.
Nails. What a nickname, Nails.
and eliminate his passionate love of steroids. The guy played it the right
God,
way. He
yeah.
played hard, man.
No, he played hard,
Yeah.
man. Listen,
So-
everybody was doing steroids at that time
Yes,
too.
yeah,
Shit.
absolutely. You still
Everybody,
are.
listen, it was the 80s,
Still
bro.
are.
Everybody had a mustache. Everybody did steroids, man.
Nah,
That's it.
they're still doing it.
Even
I
the
mean,
women had mustaches back then.
Did you see number
And
7 on
steroids.
the Saints yesterday? He came in for.
the guy
That
who
guy
plays-
was like, come on, don't tell me he wasn't human growth hormoning it. That guy was. They couldn't even tackle him. He
Did he have
like
a nice
bowled
ass?
over. he had like a 40-yard run, but
You
he
gotta have a
bowled
nice ass in those football pants, man. You ever see those linebackers? They got the freaking. Looks like they were sitting in the gravel, the driveway gravel all day, right? You ever see those guys get up the big cottage cheese asses? They look like sumo wrestlers. But when you got a good ass, it's appealing, those uniforms. Anyway, where was I going with this? So what were you saying?
Now you just
He's
asked me
talking
about
about
playing.
roids
So, yeah.
and people
So,
being roided up.
So anyway, I went and played. I went and played pro ball. I went to Erie, Pennsylvania to go play, and they said, like, look, show us what you got.
That
Give
must
us
have
a-
been something, huh? Erie, Pennsylvania. That's what a
I
place
bet
to play
you've
baseball.
done comedy shows up there.
I bet
haven't
you it was packed, right? The games were packed.
Yeah, you drove by-
Because you're
yeah.
like, I was listening to FAN the other day, and they were talking about they're trying to rework the minor league situation there. Major League Baseball is and eliminate like 4 or 5 teams. Don't do it, Major League Baseball. It's not a good idea. Keep these teams thriving. But anyway, keep supporting your minor league teams. So that's where you were playing out there. You're saying the games were packed.
Yeah. I mean, real good crowds. And
That's their team.
yeah. There isn't much going on in Erie, Pennsylvania. If you're not, in the summer, if you're not playing ball,
Yeah, this was like that movie. What was the movie?
Well, Bull Durham.
Bull Durham, right? Did you have
a little less glamorous than that, but yeah. I mean, it's
It's not the one if you build it, they will come. That was a different
No.
one. right?
This is the one with Susan Sarandon.
Oh,
and
okay.
Kevin Costner.
Yeah, and what was the other
Tim
guy?
Robbins.
Yeah, he was funny. So you're up there playing baseball. I'm sure you're having the time of your life. It's not that far away from home now. Well, for your home,
Yeah, he doesn't know which home it is.
You're not far away from any home. They can
Could be
put you
North
anywhere in the
Carolina,
country.
South Carolina.
You know somebody somewhere, right? There's a brother or sister to you somewhere, right?
Oh yeah.
My cousin, middle of nowhere. Yeah, my cousin lives over there.
That's great.
So you're a superstar out there, right? What are you playing center field?
No, I'd love to tell you I was, but you get there with the understanding, like coming out of college, you are a superstar, and then everyone around you is terrific.
Everyone's great.
And so that's your first introduction to the business of baseball, right? So there's guys there that were affiliated players making money, good. And so they're the draw. They're making the money off of tickets, concessions, and food and bev. So those guys are going to play, and you got to kind of prove your way in. And so, at first you go there and I was hot. I was pistol hot and I was probably playing like 50% of the time. And then after about 60 days, somebody figured out they get a book on you. They understand what you can and can't do. And they figured I couldn't hit the slider. And so I just saw nothing but sliders for like a month straight. And I was going south in a hurry.
Wow.
And, pro baseball, the coaches, I'd love to tell you, like at the minor leagues level, there are some coaches that'll work with you, but most times it's a business. Now, they're not there to work with you. They're there to.
Well, my theory on minor league baseball is that there's 1 or 2 people on the team that they feel has the potential to make it to the pros, but they can't play baseball by themselves, so they have to get another 7 to 9 people around them. So that's where all the other players come in. And out of those players, maybe 1% of all those players in the minor league are going to make it.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, it's, give or take 32 major league teams, 25 guys on the roster, so a little more than 650 players in the world.
Wow.
Yeah,
that are making the major leagues.
There's how many thousands of minor league players.
And there is. I mean, there's so many guys, and there are guys that
not just minor league, but also semi-pro leagues.
Yeah. Yeah.
And not only here, but playing abroad as well.
Correct.
Because those they scout from Venezuela, they scout from the Dominican Republic.
Yeah.
I think
Curacao, Mexico,
there's a European,
Japan,
yeah,
Italy. The game is, in the United States, it's taking a little bit of a beating because they keep playing games at 9 o'clock at night, so they're losing a little bit of a generation of kids. But globally, the game is growing.
Well, that's good to know, man. I'm happy about that.
And me too.
And since it's an international game, you want to see something that's beautiful. Like soccer in a way too, because obviously soccer is global. So that's what hopefully baseball will become too. And that's where we could destroy soccer and just kill it once and for all. But anyway, so now you start seeing a difference. And now when you start to skid with the sliders, and you said it's the last month of the season. How long is a minor league season anyway?
Well, so how
many games is that?
Well, you probably it depends on what level you are, but you'll play anywhere between, let's say, 75 games and 110, 120 games
in minor league.
Yeah,
120 games.
Wow.
It depends on what level you're in.
How much money are we talking about? You getting paid?
Oh, you're living in poverty. I mean,
Really?
poverty.
Yeah, they're not getting
so an A ball player, a rookie A player today probably makes 10,000 for a season. And it's not just 10,000. So you have to pay clubhouse dues, for the 4-day-old turkey slices that they serve you, and then the clubhouse attendant gets money, and you're actually paying dues up. It's a very pyramid system. So you're paying union dues. So like the major league guys, they're basically trying to feed the pyramid. So you're starving. They give meal money on the road. I think when I played was like $6 or $7, and so
thank God you had family in every city.
That's right.
You
could always grab them.
Go over for dinner.
That saved you a lot of money.
How long did the dream last?
No, one season.
One season in minor league ball,
and it was over. I mean, I kind of knew it was coming to an end because I wasn't getting much playing time. Once I started real hot, I cooled off, and then I wasn't really getting playing time. And then the guy that coached me he was a former major leaguer, and he got pissed off one day. He was drinking, and he's like, "Listen, I'm going to show you how to do this." And he did some drill with me, like they call it a 2T drill, to make sure you're staying through contact. He gave me He gave me one game, and I had like a very big home run and a booming triple the other way. And I was like, "Oh, I'm back." And that night he called me, and he's like, "Hey, I heard you're interested in being a cop." I was like, "Yeah, I am." He's like, "Well, that's what you should be doing because you're not playing here no more." Wow. So it's very abrupt. That's how it ends.
Wow.
And
fuck, man.
And so I came home.
They should do that in comedy, man. They should
get rid of a lot of people.
Wasting their time, years. There's no pension. There's no 401k. There's no medical benefits. And you're fucking 45 years old. They should have had somebody call you up at 22. Listen, it's not going to happen, pal. You said you wanted to be a fireman. Go do it, buddy.
Yeah.
But Mark, you're a 23-year veteran of comedy, right?
Yeah, but
so tell the audience how the big coin you're making.
Yeah, that's what I just told them. Don't do it. Do something else. But
and he's a successful comic.
How does that like, I know, you get this bit of information, but that's just one person telling you. Because my point is this. We all in this world of denial. Everybody thinks they can do everything. And then you have somebody who's a professional, who played baseball before, and he's telling you real quick, this isn't going to work out for you.
Well,
you could have said, nah, he's wrong.
Well, I had an opportunity to sign with another team with the Salt Lake Trappers in Utah. Mm-hmm. And it just
is that your uncle over there?
Yeah.
He knew somebody,
second cousin.
He knew somebody over there in Utah. So Mormons.
Yeah. So I mean, but in truth, it's kind of over. You know it because you're playing at the lowest level, and you're watching some guys go out there that, they're completely unrefined. They're gifted. They're 18-year-old kids. They're bigger.
Beautiful, right?
Yeah, and they're completely unrefined. But every once in a while, when it lights, like the light bulb goes off of them, you go, I don't care how much I play this game. I'm never going to be able to do that.
It's like a thoroughbred. You try to rein it in.
Right.
What those coaches try to do is they try to rein it in, right?
Yeah.
Because there's just some people, like, for example, throwing the ball over 90 miles an hour. There's a handful of people who can do it in the world. And then you take somebody who could actually throw over 95, because every one of those miles per hour is millions of dollars in your bank account.
Right.
And they have kids that can throw 100 miles an hour now. And there's I don't know, they used to have maybe, I think, 2 or 3 in the Major League Baseball. Now there's like 35.
Yeah. It's 1 or 2 per team now that can
Yeah,
get near
but
100,
you're
right?
talking about sometimes, just like in the movie, when we were talking about Bull Durham, when he actually remember Major League?
Sure.
When he couldn't, just a bit outside, remember?
Yeah.
Well, that guy, that arm's velocity that you can get, the torque to get the ball to go that fast.
Yeah.
We're gonna rein that in. We're gonna find a way to make that work. And if this coach can't do it, we'll find somebody else, because it's such a rare thing.
Yeah, I mean, and again, if you just go back to 600, a little more than 650 men in the world get to do this for a real living, and so there are guys you wouldn't outwardly know, but like there are guys in the minor leagues that throw much harder than guys in the major leagues. They do, but they're not repeatable. They can't repeat it. So that if they're missing locations by 2 or 3 inches, they're getting punished. Because men can hit a fastball. I mean, you know, even it's years ago. I obviously don't play anymore. I haven't played in 25 years. But you know, if I knew a fastball was coming and it was anywhere in the area and I'm looking for it, you were going to get hurt. You know, you could do damage to it. And now take that up 4 prongs. You know, take it from the lowest level of minor leagues to high A, to double A, triple A, and then the major league guys. You know.
Let me ask you
refinement
something.
is incredible.
When he gave you this brutal honesty and said you're not going to make it, were you upset, or did you take that like this guy knows what he's talking about? I better do something else.
You know, I had been sitting the bench.
How old were you now?
I was 21. You know, I'd been sitting the bench for a few weeks here, and you know, honestly, if you're in
What's the biggest splinter you ever got in your race?
You asked the really good questions, man.
That's the hard hitting one I was looking for.
It's like Barbara Walters when
Right,
she was
yeah,
on
that's
top
it.
of that game.
You ever sit there and pull one out this big?
That's a 20. That's a
'Cause
20.
you know how much
20.
a tiny one. Like, look at this.
That's a 60 minutes or a 2020 question.
That's where you come up with all the stuff that you do on the, like, you know, before the game with the bean bag or the blowing the gum and all that stuff that they see. Right?
There's a lot of time in those dugouts. There is, you know. I mean, just to mess around. Anyway, to answer your question is, yeah, I was crushed in the sense that you know it's over. Like it's over. Could I have latched on somewhere else? Possibly, but your ego's already taken a hit because you're watching other guys.
You would have just prolonged the egg.
Yeah, really. So 3-4 months ago, when you're at college and you're one of the nation's leading hitters, you're saying to yourself, like, I got this game in lockdown. And then 3 months later, you're seeing these guys play, and you're like, I'm sorry, I don't think I'm going to be able to hang with this. There are selected guys in this team that are at the lowest level, and I can't hang with them.
Did steroids ever come into play? Did you ever think about it?
Yeah. So I thought about it. So in college, it wasn't a thing. You know, like think in the middle 80s.
Yeah,
it wasn't
even
until
a big
Mark
deal.
McGuire had really done his thing. It really hit. But we had a player on one of my teams in college that, you know, 6'1", but like 140 pounds. He couldn't drive the baseball, and he was like,
couple of Diana balls.
He came back. He did. He came back like, you know, left around Thanksgiving break, and then came back, you know, from winter break in middle January. He was like 170 pounds. He blew up like 35, 40 pounds.
We were thinking of doing roids to make this show better.
Listen, make a run at it. You know, and he got drafted. He's a really good player. And I like, people always ask, I thought about it. Of course I thought about it. We worked out in the gym every day together. But one day he took his shirt off, and they hadn't refined any of the steroids yet. And he had like a giant pizza back. And I was like, oh that is disgusting. And, you know, and at that point, you're only thinking of two things, right? Your life is like chasing girls and playing baseball. And I was like, nah, that's not. I'm already behind the 8 ball. I'm short, fat, and bald. I can't have a pizza back, too.
So. Pizza back is a killer.
Yeah, the acne.
Acne.
Brutal.
That's a giveaway.
Yeah. I mean, they're refining it now years later.
How about even some of these actors that are gigantic muscle heads?
Yeah,
I mean, they're going to die young, you know.
They're long-term
usage is
well,
bad.
you're talking about the difference between making millions of dollars. Even on the lowest level, if you just get to the game, and you could survive a season or two, you know, you're going to make $1 million, $2 million.
Yeah, I mean,
do you know what I'm saying? That's still a lot of money, man.
There was a player that, I mean, he bounced around the major leagues for a little while. This guy Melky Cabrera.
I remember Melky, yeah.
And so Melky is actually out of Major League Baseball. He is the reason why men do like. If you ask me now in Major League Baseball today, why I would say it's an opinion, but 90% plus guys are using they're on something.
Mm-hmm.
He's out of baseball, and he gets on a cycle and gets picked up.
Mm-hmm.
And from when they pick him up, like in May to the end of the year, it's like 25 or 26 home runs. I forgot what he hit, how many. And they catch him at the end of the year. He gets caught right before the year ends, and they suspend him for 60 or 80 games. I forget what it is. He sits his 80 games, and next year someone signed the guy for $13 million a year for 4 years. So they gave him $52 million a year, and he was out of baseball the year before. So if you're a guy like in AAA or you're floundering in the minor leagues, and someone say, you're like, oh, it's almost over for me. Come on, let's go. You know?
If you think about it, you're picking that guy up. Depending on, and obviously the suspensions, they grow the amount of times you get caught. But those first 3 suspensions that you get, even if there's 60 games, who gives a shit? I want them right before the playoffs anyway. Right before the deadline is to pick him up, I'll take him, and hopefully he won't get tested or come up positive until the end of the season. By that time, we already used him up.
Right. And if you're looking at it individually, like I again use Melky Cabrera, if they caught him again and they suspended him for a year, he was making nothing. He was out of the game. Now he's getting a half a season of $13 million.
Yeah, not including all the other seasons that he had. I'm sure he had a decade in the major leagues before he got caught, even the first time.
Well, they probably the poster child for what happens when you use steroids that cause cancer was, remember Lyle Alzado?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I know, but listen,
he wasn't of the size to play NFL football, and that's
sure
what made him. No, he was not.
He was 6'4".
Yeah, but 240.
Yeah, but nobody was 240 back then.
He needed to be 280. That's what he played at.
But you're talking about a different time. He played in the 70s. I think what happened to Lyle Alzado was the growth hormone, because he was in L.A., and over there they started dabbling in growth hormone, but they weren't doing the synthetic one. They were doing the one for cadavers. This is... I'm talking out of my ass right now, but no, this is true though. This is what I remember. And then when you do steroids, if you have a cancer in your body, you're gonna grow, and it could spark it up and wake it up. So now all of a sudden, if you were supposed to get cancer, maybe 10 years from now, it was dormant, or that's the way you're gonna die in the future. Now all of a sudden, at a young age, you're doing it, and that's what he's doing. He's doing growth hormone. Maybe he injected somebody else's disease into him.
He also had a tremendous amount of roid rage. Remember when he took off his helmet and threw it at Chris Ward on the Jets?
Yeah. He was an animal. He was a beast. Yeah. Well, that's where steroids came in handy too. It's like with when you needed that type of aggression,
rage. Yeah.
Remember that guy? He got drafted #1 pick. The fridge. Mandridge.
Oh,
Tony
Mandridge. Tony Mandridge. I'm talking about. He was on the cover of Sports.
He set the record of doing 225. I think he did it like 50 times. Something ridiculous. Yeah. That was like the record. But he had.
I could do that. You're talking about the 2.5 one,
225.
Right?
Do that 50 times or something like that.
The 2.5 plate, right? I could do that 50 times.
I could do the 2.5.
So, he was a guy who. I think who was the guy who ran right over him going into the end zone? The running back.
I think you're thinking Bo Jackson.
You're talking about the guy.
Oh yeah, Bosworth. I got the two guys confused.
Yeah.
Both of them had 30 for 30s, and they were both interesting. Listen, steroids is part of sports, and
it is.
It's a performance enhancing. Imagine if you went to the Hollywood movie stars, all these people talking shit, and he said, "Oh, you can't have a facelift anymore, or a tummy tuck anymore, or you can't dye your hair anymore." What are you talking? It's performance enhancing.
Yeah.
It's a sport. Only few people can do it. Let them do whatever the fuck they want. I don't care.
But why does the NFL pretend that they test people in the?
Well, because
they got to pretend at least, right?
It's barbaric. It's holding on. You get a couple more people that die in the field. People are gonna look at, especially with the concussions, and they're finding out this is a laptop, bro. This thing right here. Mine isn't, like the basic one.
You have the basic model.
Yeah. But if you took it and you threw it on the floor, how many times do you think you could throw it on the floor before it's not going to work right?
No, not too many.
You know what I'm saying? And that's what happens. That's what these guys are. Every one is like a car accident.
CTE, they call it, right? Yeah.
That's why, in a way, baseball.
You ever get a concussion?
Yeah.
How many times?
I got knocked out once boxing. I remember that one. That was probably maybe 3 times in my life.
Yeah, I think I've had 2. I think
I hit my head on a pole once running when I was a kid. I think that was a concussion too.
Yeah, we probably as younger athletes, we probably had them more often.
Yeah, but
no one was testing for you. You know what I mean? You had like
you never got a concussion. How could nothing?
Oh yeah,
you could have hit a car with that head. The car would be all fucked up. Look at the size of that thing. Holy shit!
He's butting cars.
See what happened to that car?
I love young cops. You ever seen those stand in front of a car and put their hand up? Like,
crazy.
who taught them that?
Fuck that. I was standing on the sidewalk.
For a summons?
Yeah,
What?
yeah. Oh, that's crazy. That's insane. Man, we're having such a good time. We got so now you get this bit of news, man. It breaks my heart when you say it, because especially it's so hard. That's you see, because you didn't have much of a. It's not like show business where you can keep trying and what do they know? You know what I'm saying? But this was somebody who, you can't go play anywhere else. You could go play make believe somewhere.
Nah, you don't. I'll speak for myself. I really never wanted to play again. Like when it was over, and I don't mean like in a bitter way. That was done. Like that chapter was over. You know what I mean? I came home. My pops picked me up on a Greyhound bus. He's like, "Hey, did you give it everything you had?" I was like,
Your
"Yeah."
Pops was driving the Greyhound bus.
No, negative. Pick me up.
That's how you got around so much.
I'm gonna drive for Greyhound.
That's how he got around so much.
So he picked me up when I took the bus home, and he's like, "Did you do everything you could there?" I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "Is it out of your tank? Did you empty the tank?" I was like, "Yeah." And he's like, "All right, what are you gonna do? Because you got to get a job." He gave me he gave me a day, like basically like, "All right, let's figure it out. You got to get some work." And so, I went to the city, and I was a messenger and a bike messenger for a couple of months waiting for the job to open up.
That's fun.
You know what I mean? And then.
Right?
And that's more dangerous than the police
Man,
department driving a bike messenger.
It's not the same anymore.
I used to say to ESU, I'd see a guy delivering Domino's pizzas to the projects, and I'd say, that guy has the most dangerous job in the city, delivering pizzas to the projects.
Chinese
and the
food.
ESU guys, they wouldn't like that,
Chinese food to the project.
Or Chinese, I would love this. They'd call the Chinese restaurant, "Yes, they order this." They go, "Bring change of 100." And then you knew the guy was getting robbed, right?
Absolutely.
And the big technology was where they had the ID. They could see the phone number ID. That was huge technology back then, right? Oh, we know who this is,
So now you get back home. Your father picks you up in his Greyhound. You get back home. And where do you go now? What state? Who are you staying with?
Yeah, and I'm in New York. My pops lived in Hicksville.
Okay.
Hicksville.
Yeah, so my brother...
Billy Joel's from there, but he says he's from Levittown, but we don't want him.
I thought he said he's from Oyster Bay.
He says
too.
all kinds of shit, but when he said in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, he put down Levittown. I don't want him anymore.
No,
and I like his music. I just think he's a typical Hollywood dick, though,
Yeah, I did my senior year of high school.
You hear that, Billy?
I graduated from Hicksville High School. I think I distinctly remember someone.
He probably listens to the show,
I distinctly remember someone saying, like one of the teachers when I was there in my senior high school, saying, "Hey, your most famous person ever came to the school and he didn't even graduate high school." So
Billy Joel with Hicksville
yeah.
High School, yeah.
So,
but he tries to hang on to that Levittown tough.
He didn't graduate, huh?
I guess not. I just remember
He was doing shows and
School's
drinking.
overrated.
I think he did okay for himself.
Yeah, his school's
Yeah, I
so...
think-
Three of the biggest dropouts of
so
college
overrated.
were Bill Gates,
Right.
Zuckerman, and who's the other? Apple.
Mark DeMeo.
Not Mark DeMeo. Steve Jobs. Steve Jobs. All three of them quit
big
college.
trade.
I didn't know. I knew Bill Gates. I didn't realize.
Yeah, all three of them quit college. Yeah.
So you're 22 now?
Yeah.
You're in Long
I'm
Island?
21 and a half. I'm in Long Island, and
You hung up the cleats.
yeah, I'm done. And
You still holding on to those little shorts that you wear, the tight
I
ones?
still have them.
Yeah, you still wearing those
I still have them.
with the white socks with the flip flop, right?
I was a high sock guy. I was a high sock, high pants guy.
Oh yeah, you like that? Oh, you like that? Yeah, I could see that. That's for fast guys.
Yeah.
You probably was fast.
Hicksville
as
was
shit.
never. They were like good in sports. They were never great in sports, right? We played against them in basketball.
I really was only there like principally that senior year. So like the football team.
You got around the country,
knocked
Billy. Remember?
around. We got knocked around pretty good. Senior. I remember we got knocked around pretty good, and then the baseball it was competitive, but the town beside us was better.
Right.
Levittown was.
You when you're a baseball player like that and you come out of Long Island, everybody knows that you went to play in the minor leagues. And they're all rooting for you. Everybody that you played with, my son played baseball. He knows everybody who got drafted, who he played with, where they are. And then you come home again. And that's got to be a little odd because, all your friends are probably telling you, you should give it another shot. What do you mean you that's it? And they don't seem to really understand. How do you explain that to them?
Really, the police department job was coming, so it was almost an easy transition.
Mm-hmm.
You say, hey, a couple months, I'm joining the police department. So I'd tell you, it was really hard to say, but like it was. I mean, I hate to say it was over for me. I had given that game everything I could possibly do, probably since I was realistically, 13, 14 years old, when my older brother was like, listen, if you're doing this, you're doing this. Like, no bullshit. You give everything you got, or you don't do it. And so for probably 13, 14, until I was 21, 50, 60 hours a week.
What year did you come on?
92.
Oh, yeah, me too.
Really?
I was looking at your bio, and I noticed, I think you came out the class before me. I was the midnight class, 3000.
There was a midnight class? You kidding me?
In Brooklyn Tech, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Are you messing with me? Or?
No, that was the July 1992. When did you come on?
Yeah, January.
So you came on the class before me.
Okay.
So when we got that was the Safe Street, Safe City money.
Correct.
So when we came on, you know how they told you don't quit your job until
you're
you're sworn in.
Right.
So I was one of the 3,000 people at Brooklyn Tech High School, and we swore in at midnight.
Wow.
And we sat there, and we filled out a bunch of paperwork until like 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. And somewhere in between then, I called up where I used to work and told them I'm not going to be in. They knew already anyway, but just to make it official.
They used to make you miss so much work that if you didn't quit, you'd get fired, right?
Right.
Oh, you know,
The
between
investigation,
all that stuff. Yeah, I remember that. You had to take a day off of work to go see your investigator and stuff like
They used
that.
to visit your neighbors, too.
How long did the process take from the time that you took the test until the time you got hired?
You know
Remember?
what?
Like 3 years, right? 2.5, 3 years?
Mine was a while. I know it was a while, but I took the test. My father got me the application when I was 16 and a half years old.
Oh, so you had taken the test early.
Yeah, I took it really early because he knew, like...
He knew you weren't going to make it in baseball.
He did. He knew. No. He knew the only two things I ever wanted to do, so he went and got me, like, the ARCO study book.
Could you come on at 20 back then?
I don't...
Because now they changed it to 22.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I think
20.
I think
is it
you had
22
to...
now?
It's 22 now, yeah.
I think you could come on at 20 and a half.
Yeah.
And then you could,
back then, cause I had a guy in the 2-3 squad. He retired at the age of 45, and he had 25 years on. I was like, holy shit, you came on when you were 20 years old.
Yeah,
and
so,
he went to the 3-2, which was then known as the Tomb of Gloom.
Yes.
And he went from wherever he lived in Staten Island to be like, holy shit, you know. That place was no joke back then, you know.
Yeah.
where
Still
did you
isn't a joke.
Where did you wind up with first command?
Midtown South.
He was hooked.
No,
He was
listen,
hooked.
I'll tell you right now.
Were your balls dipped in butter?
Everybody asked the same question. I'd be quite frank about it. My aunt, another family member, was Jewish, and she was neighbors with some chaplain on this job. I don't even remember the guy's name. And when you do like your dream sheet,
Yeah.
I didn't know anything about being a cop. I didn't know anything about the city. So I was like, where do I go? They're like, hey, you're living in Long Island. Go to Brooklyn. I was like, okay, which ones? They're like, go to the 6-7. It's busy. The 7-0.
Right.
I filled it out. Everyone's the day, you find out where you're going. Everyone's like, you're hooked up. You're full of shit. You know what I mean? I was like, I didn't know anybody. And I got
Did you write down in there, I was a professional baseball player?
It's part of your application process.
You
right?
probably did, right? Yeah, because
Well, you
the
have
funny
to.
thing
It's
is,
part of your
somebody's looking at it like, oh, we got somebody for the team.
Yeah.
Guys,
no.
used to
Manhattan
get,
South.
guys used to get pissed off at that banner in Midtown South where it says Midtown
busiest
South,
in
the
the world.
busiest in the world. And guys would come there from the 4-6 and the 4-4 and be like, are you fucking kidding me? You
How
know?
far off am I, though? I mean, because the truth is, the job has teams.
Yeah.
And if you can make one of these teams, if you like, for example, if you're on the boxing team, the football team, the baseball team, you're hooked. You're hooked. Your whole career, you're hooked.
Look, I don't know. I never played, but if you're willing to,
Oh, you didn't
give
play
up,
on the team?
No, I refused.
You were like
in the academy. They wanted me.
You
to
were like
play.
Montgomery Cliff on.
I just didn't want to do it.
Was it From Here to Eternity? Huh? You too good to play?
No, I just
to
didn't want
box
to do
with
it.
us?
I didn't want to do it anymore.
Did you ever see the movie?
No.
Yeah, he plays a guy who he kills somebody in the ring. So when he gets to his new place, where he's gonna be a soldier, all he wants to do is play taps. He plays the trumpet too, but they want him to box on the team, and they start putting him through hell. Frank Sinatra's in it. Ernest Borgnine is a jail keep. Burt Lancaster has that famous scene where he's on the beach rolling around with the.
Oh, that gorgeous
I'm trying to
starlet.
think
Yeah.
what was her name.
From Here to
I don't
Eternity.
think it's
you're
Tuesday
talking
Weld.
about,
I don't
right?
think it was her, but anyway, I thought they didn't know. Right?
Nah.
They really-
No. In the academy, at some point towards the end, somebody asked.
when you had to throw the ball back and forth and you hit somebody off the head with it and they died.
No. Yeah. so somewhere towards the end, some academy instructors like, hey, they want you to go to the practices, and I was like, nah, I don't really want to do that. And he said, this is probably a bad idea. Like, this could get you in trouble in your career. I was like, that's okay. Whatever consequence comes from that, it's all right.
You
I'll
don't
deal
want
with
to play
it.
anymore.
I just didn't want to play anymore. It's just
See,
done,
I was right.
So
They knew it.
There was a guy in the 2-8 that was a semi-pro quarterback, and a deputy commissioner went up to him, "You're playing," and he goes, "No, I'm not," and he refused to play.
nah, I mean,
The
We had
was
a
like
guy who played on
star.
Dallas Cowboys in my academy class.
Really?
Yeah, he played a year with Dallas.
wow, he must have been
Fast,
great
yeah,
player,
incredible, incredible.
Where'd he wind up going in the police department?
I don't know. After I lost track of him after the shower room. Man, I missed that guy.
Was he the roid
I mean,
supplier?
nobody knew he played. It was just me. I came up to him and said, "Hey, I was looking at your ass. Did you play football?"
What, he had a
As matter of
star.
fact,
He had a star on his ass or
Matter of
something, or what?
I'm a big fan of the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah, no. So
So you didn't want to play on the job. Well, okay,
Nah.
but you didn't really get any beef from it other than that, did you?
no, not at all. None.
I mean, shit, they put you in the freaking Midtown South.
Oh yeah, it was like I said.
Actually
I
worked
got,
in your favor.
It worked great. You know what I mean? And then from
That's where you put on all the weight?
I put on all the weight after I retired. Yeah,
I thought you went to Midtown South and just
After I retired.
restaurant row
Yeah.
and try
I think
everything
the
there.
North has better food than the South, right?
Yeah, it does.
The
It
North
does.
is even a
Yeah.
bigger contract than the South.
Yep.
Really?
Midtown North. Yeah.
Oh, Midtown, but where's the restaurant row? When were we joking about
That's
that?
right on the right,
The
it's right on
border, right?
Borderline.
It's a border.
Also, how about the
You could
biggest
cross that
details?
border.
That theater detail, right?
Yeah, the
Guys
theater
that do
district
the
guys.
theaters?
That's a tough job.
Is it?
Yeah, you show up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And you eat
You have to
caviar.
take control of all the people that enjoy musicals.
Yeah, tough.
And everyone's calling you to get them tickets,
Well,
right?
Yeah, that's the only thing you got to control. That's the toughest job.
Yep.
So you're working in Midtown South, and I have a feeling like you're going to become a good cop. I mean, you're young, you're athletic, you're willing to work hard, obviously.
Yeah, and it's something you wanted.
Did you like it right off the bat?
Oh my God, I got trial by fire on the first day. I graduated the academy on a Friday. That Monday, Washington Heights breaks. And
You know what's funny that you mentioned that, because I was in the academy for 3 days, and Washington Heights breaks.
Really?
And they were talking about mobilizing us, and I'm like, well, what are we going to do that for? Nobody knows what they're doing. We're not even real cops yet.
great.
I don't want to go up there.
No, it really. I mean, it
So you
really
went up
is.
there?
I did. It's a great story.
Go ahead.
So the precinct, you're in the basement for like your training, your first day, like everybody does, and so everyone's afraid, including me, like to leave because you just spent 6 months being yelled at in the academy.
Right.
But I had worked out for like 2 hours before that at home, and I was thirsty. And so about 2 hours into the training sergeant's like, "Hey, if anybody wants to get a drink, go upstairs." No one would go. I was like, "I got to do this." So I walked up to the soda machines, and I put the first quarter in, and I hear someone yell from the background, "Hey, stupid, get your hat and bat, let's go." He said, "I am certainly not stupid. He don't know who I am. I've been in this precinct 95 seconds, you know." I put the second quarter, he's like, "Hey, you fucking idiot. Get the fuck upstairs." I'm like, "Oh," I turn around, I look at him, and I know he's yelling at me. So I go upstairs, I open up the locker, I'm a little nervous. I grab my 8-point hat. He said, "Hat and bat," right? So and the guy next to me, the
For
light.
those of you, like the civilian that watches or not from the job, hats is what we call our helmets.
Right.
And bats is the nightstick. So when they say hats and bats, it's like get your helmet and your nightstick. But you thought they meant the...
I thought they meant the 8-point hat. So the guy locker next to me looks at me and goes, "Hey, buddy, they mean you kazoo." So I'm like, "Kazoo." So I'm opening up the memo book and I'm trying to find like the equipment and I'm looking for the letter K for kazoo. I don't know what he's talking about. Obviously he's talking about the Jetson show. And then he's like, yo, your riot helmet. I'm like, "Oh." So I get in the van. They throw me in a van. The training sergeant doesn't know where I am, right? So I get in the van.
He's home alone.
And nobody, when I say nobody will talk to me. Nobody.
Somebody stole the rookie.
Right? So I'm like,
Somebody stole a rookie.
We got a missing academy guy.
I'm like 6 rows back on the right side, and so when I say will not talk to me, they're like, "Hey, who's the new guy?" They're like, "Where'd he come from?" And now there's a dialogue between the guys, like, "It could be an internal affairs plan." They're like, "Nah, it can't happen that fast." Like, bullshit. This whole thing could be set up, you know. So like the conspiracy theories are already spinning, and then so one of the guys finally goes, "Hey, what's your name?" So he asked me my name, and then they, then they're like,
Pete
"Hey,"
Rose.
Right. Then they're like, "Where you from?" I'm like, "The academy, sir." You know, I'm saluting. Like they're like, "Oh, they sent an academy pussy with us. We got an academy guy with us. Might as well be a rat." They're thinking like I'm an instructor, I guess.
Uh-huh.
And then they look at it and they're like, "Oh, but his belt's new." So finally they get around to it and they realize like I'm brand new. I just got to the precinct, and they send me up to the front of the van to this old Vietnam veteran, like mustache, still like the bullets, in the swivel holster, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he's like smoking a cigarette. And he's like, "Hey kid, when we get out of this van, if you want the guys to trust you, take that stick and hit the first guy right over his head." You're like, "What?" He's like, "Yeah, you're going off this van first. Crack the first guy you see." I'm like, "Oh, I can swing a bat. I'll swing." So you get off this. You get off this. You're in the middle of a melee. You crack the first guy. He's like, "Let's go, fellas. We're good." And that's how my career started. I'm not joking. I spent 3 or 4 days up there. Predates cell phones.
Oh my God.
My wife doesn't know nothing.
So when they came back, when they brought you back, and then your training sergeant was like, "There he goes."
Oh yeah.
So then he grabs his rookie, "Come here," and then like the other guys are like, "No, we want him back tomorrow.
Yeah,
we got to see how many heads he cracked."
Later that night. I ran into our training sergeant, and he was joking about it. He's like, "Yeah, we kind of thought after my 2-hour speech you had it and you quit."
You got on the wrong bus.
Yeah, he quit.
You took the wrong bus.
He's like, "We thought you packed it in. You didn't want to be here.
Somebody stole the rookie.
Right, so
somebody stole
that's
the
how
rookie.
my career started. So and it was
That's
pretty.
a great story, man. That's for a movie right there.
It was pretty cool. I mean,
Let's go. Get you.
Talk about the way the world's connected. We've had Michael O'Keefe on this show like 3 times, and he of course shot Kiko Garcia, which started the Washington Heights riots, and
which
everything's
got you,
connected.
Which put you in that
led to
van.
your story, yeah.
Safe street, safe city, right? Not so safe.
They took you hostage.
That
is a great story, man.
I'd say like just a great run on this. This job treated me so well. I loved it. So from there, I got my first. My first shooting. I got my first shooting New Year's Eve a couple years later. Same thing, Times Square, New Year's Eve. You'd think nothing's going to happen. It's Times Square. It's 10,000 people, right?
What year was this?
1993.
Okay.
So they give me they put me on patrol instead of the detail, and you're like, this is going to be the quietest night ever. I'm going to take lost time at 7:00. We're actually having a small party at my house.
Wait a minute, you thought you were taking lost time on New Year's Eve?
I had the patrol, so they were going to minimum
staffing.
staffing.
We forgot. His balls were dipped in
That's
butter.
right.
Exactly.
Now it all happens. Think about it. Think about somebody that comes to work on New Year's Eve and has plans to take lost time.
Hey, Lou, I'm going to take lost time at 7 if it's
no.
okay, all right?
I was New Year's Eve. We're flying in people from all over the world.
I was definitely taking lost time. I was getting out early. We're down to minimum staffing.
Oh, man, that's great.
and,
as a rookie, calling shots already.
That's the
I
South.
had a solid year and a half on the job.
He was showing people how to play in the backyard.
The South is where chiefs call the desk. They go, "Hello, Sergeant. Yes, my daughter,
Right.
My little daughter Vicky. You're gonna let her off at 8:00 tonight, but I can't. I'm Chief so and so. You're gonna do what I tell you to do."
Were you training people playing baseball in the backyard over there at the precinct? Is that right?
No, when I wasn't working, I was already I was coaching in college. So
Shit! All right, we're gonna cover all the college stuff.
Yeah,
we're gonna coach in the college. We're gonna talk about the book, how that came to be.
Sure.
And you see how easy that was?
Yeah, not bad.
Did you have fun?
Oh, it's a blast.
I know we broke your balls a little bit. I feel
That's
bad
good.
about the
Listen.
head thing, but
listen, it's a big nugget.
yeah, it's a nice. You got a good head for it though.
Yeah.
I shaved my hair once, man. I cried. I used to wake up in the middle of the night and look. I had a mirror right by the bed and look, and I couldn't believe I did it. And I was like,
Buddy, you got a helmet head. Why would you ever shave your head?
well, at the time it was like becoming the fashionable thing. Everybody was shaving their head, and I thought it was gonna look cool on me. But
Well, then I've been coming in and out of fashion for a lot of years. Then.
yeah, well,
Yeah.
You got a lot of nicks and crannies in your head when it's
I
bald?
went down to like a 1, and 1 is pretty bald. One is yeah. I'll show you a picture, man. You're gonna laugh your ass off. You'll be like, that's why you have hair. God gave you hair for a reason. But we're gonna come back for hour 2, man. Any parting words for episode 1?
Nah, I mean, great, exciting. A lot of baseball fans will be watching this. And,
Yeah, I'm
next time we
excited.
get to
I'm
hear your
excited to
police
talk
career,
about
which is what we know a little bit about.
sure,
We don't know
sure.
shit about baseball.
I know about baseball.
Come on.
I just talked about baseball for an hour. Do you think I know about baseball?
I think you got some handle on it.
All
Yeah.
right. Good, man. I told you. I love men in tights, man. All right, so we're going to come back for hour 2. Thanks for tuning in.